Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Just Your Average YouTube from the building series, where I teach you how to build certain things in certain styles in your own custom way. Not a block for block tutorial, but just how to do it your own style. And today, since we built castles recently, today we're going to be building a barbarian encampment, or just an invading encampment, based on, I actually got the idea from playing Mount and Blade Warband. So first of all, you're going to want to build the wooden walls using logs of varying lengths, alternating like this. That way that fences, like this, don't connect up with each other, and it looks like spikes. You can put iron bars on there too to make them metal, and that just gives it a really nice effect. So, yeah, you're going to want to do this all around the area in which you are setting up the camp. Another thing you can do is you can build up an entrance area by putting logs up like so, and then having an area open here. But you don't want an actual like open area. You're going to want a gate or some sort of fence post area. So I'm going to start building up one of those for you guys, and I'll show you all after I finish. First you put some logs down though. That's just the base. And then over here, see, we alternate what type of fence we're using so that way they don't line up and you can actually walk through it, but people riding horses can't, and that sort of thing. So basically, you have a good choke point here, and you can use that as an entrance and an exit. Log at the bottom, alternating fences all the way up, and then spikes on the top. So that works pretty well. And then if you want, you can lay down a wall of sort of logs around, all the way around the outside here, and that works out pretty well. You can put fences, you can put whatever you want. Like, see, fence, little, where, let me think, fence here, and then, spruce fence, and then a spike. And see, you can just put fences with spikes alternating between these two areas, between the the nether brick fence and the not nether brick fence. I'll just remove that, and I will place spruce stairs, and we can use spruce stairs right here, because spruce stairs are really easy to run over from the inside, and not so easy to run over from the outside, and they also look aesthetically pleasing, so that's why. Okay, so yeah, I'll just remove that, put a spike on that one, call it a day. Yeah. So you're just gonna want to finish making this log wall around. I'll go finish that up, and then I'll get into the next sort of step you're going to want to do when building this encampment. So one detail you can add using the new 1.16 target block is actually training targets, which most encampments will have for their troops to train on. I've added a couple skulls on top, as detail, cause details. And then maybe some training dummies using armor stands or whatever you want. But they're probably going to have some sort of training because they need their troops to be, well, trained. And troops need training. That, yeah. So, I don't know how to make a proper training dummy very good. But, I could probably figure one out. But I'll just put an armor stand, give him pumpkin head. Another armor stand, put another armor stand, give him a pumpkin head. It's important to get all these little details in your camp worked out, like training zones, before you start like building other things, such as tents. Like in the middle, I have a campfire, and I've got a couple tents over here, which aren't very difficult to build. But right here is where the main center tent is going to be, and this one's probably going to be like a large tent. So you're probably not just going to want to go straight up. You're probably going to want to, or like, you're not going to want to go diagonally up. So you're going to want to go up diagonally a few blocks and then like go straight up and then go across and all that. See, like that. And then you go up another diagonal one. See, like this. And this makes it have a more like natural sort of roof feel because surprisingly, tents are not completely straight lines. Oh man, I'm getting kind of laggy. But place some red terracotta and wool, and this can make some really nice detailed tents. But you're going to want to get in all those little details of your camp. Like, the main tent is where the, like, general is probably going to stay, you know. Because, you know, like, they get the fancy tents because they're, like, smart. And then, you know, you can fix this up with, like, placing different things here. Yeah, so, you know, everybody, or not everybody, but most people know how to build a tent in Minecraft. So I'll spare you having to see me build the smaller tent, but this larger tent's got a bit of sort of uniquity to it. Uniquity there. If you didn't know, I am smart, but yeah, it's got a bit of uniqueness to it in the fact that it's differently shaped than the normal tents. And so if you want, you can use this design. If you don't, you could use another design. You don't even need a big tent if you want. It's just more likely that there will be a larger tent for, or at least a different tent for, like, a general or like the commander of the army who is in the camp with them. I'm going to extend this out a couple blocks because, you know, I need it to be a bit bigger for the fence post because I want this on a 1 block center. And of course, they sleep in brown beds. I always use brown beds for this sort of thing because, like, animal hides. Like, I don't expect people to be carrying the most luxurious beds ever when they go out. That's like a cot. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that military people sleep on cots, or at least they did back in the day. I'm not sure what military people sleep on. You know what? I've never been in the military. I wouldn't know. Why are you watching me build this? Why don't you go watch someone who's been in the military build this, huh? I don't know. Why does anybody do anything? I really like how you can place spruce fence gates now without needing a block beneath them. That's nice. But yeah, you break this and you add, like, support pillars for where you're. Oh, it's 1 block off. I'll just have to extend this out one. But yeah, you put support pillars for where your, like, lanterns are gonna be, because, you know what, light. You know what they say, something about light. But yeah, the everything is pretty much gonna be built now. But there's gonna be, like, area in the center where you have a lantern hanging down from something if you can. Because, like, you know, you need to light up the area somehow, and I'm pretty sure people have lanterns in tents. You know, my series isn't exactly historically accurate. It's just what looks good, so don't bug me about that. If you want historically accurate, click off the video immediately, because I'm not good at that. But, I don't think I've ever studied history. But here comes the good part, the best part. This little detail is really good if you're outside of a castle. You put an item frame here, and then I don't know, no item frames on the side, because, like, it's a bookshelf, so it's got, like, books and stuff, right? Okay. And then you fly over to the castle here, and you add in a bunch of little details on the map by adding, like, circles and X's and stuff, and it looks like a battle plan. Like, you know, like arrows and circles and things that smart people write on maps. You know, like tactical stuff. So, like, arrows and stuff. So I'm gonna build a few of those, and then, like, yeah. So, like, well, I'll give an example right here. You can build up, and then build an arrow, and then afterwards you can lock the map, and then you can just, like, remove the arrow, so it's not actually here. So if you're doing a build like this, then yeah, that will be, you can have that. And that'll be a thing. That'll be a nice little detail to add to your thing. I can't words. I'm really bad at them. So, and I consider myself some kind of diplomat, don't I? But yeah, you draw, like, a little arrow right here like this, and it'll show up on your map as an arrow. See, you can already see it. It looks kind of like an arrow. And then, yeah, you give it a little bit of this action. And then you look on the map and see it shows up as an arrow. And that's a good little example. So I'm going to put a few of these around, and then I'll show you the map afterwards. So here is the map in all of its glory. There, placed it down on top of this table in an item frame, and if we sit here, it looks like smart people getting ready for an invasion on this castle. Like they're like circling stuff and pointing at stuff and being smart and all that. They're smart people. But what you can really do is you can take a glass pane and put this inside of a cartography table. And if you put it in here with a pane, it will become a locked map. Oh, that's a fancy looking map. It's all laminated. But, yeah. And then you can place it down like this. And if you remove all that, like terracotta or whatever block you use to mark out arrows, then it will stay like, it'll stay the same. So, another thing you're going to want to do is add a lot of detail into this thing. Like I said, it's going to be a small thing. So what we're going to do is add tiny little chairs made of little wooden logs like this by placing a campfire and then hitting it with a water bottle or splash water potion. You can use a water bucket. I feel like a red bed for the general, because generals get fancy. I don't know where to put it. I'll just put it right there. The general gets 2 beds too. That's nice. Okay. Like the general has to do a lot of work, so that makes sense. I'll just place one bed here and one bed there. There. General gets 2 separate beds in other parts of the world. Moreover, like right next to each other, but still. Then put a couple chests here, because, he needs personal stuff. Maybe there's like a co-general or something. I don't know. Yeah, let's just say there's 2 generals, and they share a tent. But, another thing is you're going to want to build another tent for blacksmithing and stuff, or like weapon upkeep, because if people aren't able to repair their weapons will get very like broken very quickly. And also you can put like cages with like livestock in them, because soldiers need certain types of meats, but we'll get on with that later. But you can put in like these moreover lean-to huts that are like one pole and then they like slope downward, and you can put stuff in them too. I mean, you can put stuff everywhere. And then yeah, that makes a pretty good blacksmith looking hut if you just slope it down every few blocks. That'll be cool. And then yeah, like so, and then like so, and then you keep sloping it down and it will make a nice looking tent. I put a little block there for more stabilization, I guess. As I like to, I don't know what I say about it. I want to say I like to say, but I don't like to say. But a functioning on-the-go blacksmith is pretty much essential for most military groups, because you need to make sure your weapons and armor are top-notch if you're going to go raid a castle. So, because castles are really high defense. I know I talked about this in another video. Like, bunkers are basically modern-day castles, or maybe it's mansions that are basically modern-day castles. But basically the same thing. So yeah, you throw in some pillars like this, and see, it looks like a nice little like tarp over a tent, and then you can throw in anvils and blast furnaces. Don't throw in lava; it will burn. So I do not recommend using lava as a decoration, but you can use other things. And you should be able to put like piles of barrels places for storage, because when moving things around, you move them in piles. Like if you ever go to a shipping dock, things are all in like containers, and those containers are just in piles. So like that's that's how I feel like it would probably be. I mean, you can do whatever. You can have like a storage tent if you want, but I feel like there'd be at least some piles of like barrels, and then like labeled with like food or ammunition or whatever. And then yeah, I'll put chests on top. Get all those, because like this is a very small scale build. Like this would be a starter base. If you wanted to build like a very complex military encampment, you could. But these small starter bases you're gonna want to get the little details. I kind of want to build like some kind of pen, for like pigs or something, because having livestock is really useful, because the military needs food imported to them a lot. So if you had livestock, not only would the base be more functional, but less realistic, I guess. So like if you're going for a 100% realistic base, then don't build livestock cages, because livestock never really were in the military, as far as I know, because that's how military works. They have to train and like save their ammo and stuff. They don't have time to go hunting or raise livestock, because that takes a lot of time to do and a lot of effort. They got a war to fight. So yeah, we'll just put a couple pigs in here. Just boop pigs, maybe 3 or 4, or maybe 6 or 7, and then we'll just put some slabs on the roof, and that will count as a pig pen. See, now if you were just playing survival mode, you could just put a pressure plate in a hopper or something like that. Yeah. And then you can have another one over here, another much smaller one, and you could do something else with it. You could put like villagers or something in it as prisoners of war, because interrogation or whatever. Like, in wartime you take prisoners, you put them in tiny cages in your encampment. But quit switching jobs. Just a villager. Get back in your pen where you belong, villager. Get it? It's funny. Get it? Because I like enslaving villagers. That makes it funny. See, it gives a nice effect for the camp, right? Right, guys? I'm not the only one here who hates villagers. Okay, everybody hates villagers. Except for me, because they give me goodies. But, like, as a functioning camp or, like, base, this would be really good for using trades. Like, you need places for your villagers to be, and you could trade with them if you put them in little pens. So, yeah. And then you spawn a couple villagers in. Well, not necessarily. You wouldn't spawn them in, but you just shove them in their little pens, and then they will buy goodies and sell goodies. They won't buy your goodies. That's the wandering trader's job. Wait. Okay. Let me rephrase this. I don't think any of them buy goodies. Although the wandering scammer does steal your emeralds, he doesn't buy goodies. But yeah, I'm gonna finish up adding in the details of this camp, and I will be right back and showcase all of them and go over them one more time with you. Alright. First of all, you're going to want to build these wooden log walls with these spikes on top. And a cool little detail forgot to mention is you can put a skull on a spike and then a crimson fence. Is there a red nether brick fence? No, there isn't. But you can put on a crimson fence and it looks like it has dried blood underneath, like there was a human head there. Haha. You keep these as entrances so you can get in and out easy over there. And then you're going to want to build things like piles of resources, training areas, just things that make the camp feel more lively, that sort of thing. One big tent and a few smaller tents. This sort of like blacksmith tent, some sort of blacksmith area. Maybe a blacksmith cart. Then you're going to want to have cages with your villagers and whatever animals or livestock you want to keep as pets or as dinner. Yeah, that's pretty much everything to build your nice little camp. Maybe a campfire in the middle. But, oh, I forgot about this. This little detail here, this map, is really nice if you're invading some sort of area. I'm definitely going to use this place for attack defense on the castle. I've been planning to do that since the castle was built. But anyway, that'll be it for this one. I hope you liked the video. I had a great time making it, and I hope you had a great time watching it. But that'll be it for this one. Bowdy.